Hello everyone, I am Harshita Khirkar, currently pursuing MTech from International Institute of Professional Studies DAVV, Indore. This video is a part of my college assignment of the subject Information Security under the guidance of Dr. Shaligram Prajapat sir. In this video, we are going to discuss the end semester examination solutions of the year 2023. Let's begin. Question number one, create a visual representation of the differences between the internet and the web. To create a visual representation of the differences between the internet and the web, we can use the following diagram. This is internet and this is web. Online websites, common internet stuff that isn't web pages not on the internet. ICMP, FTP, DNS, Skype, BGP, SSH, IRC, these all are the diagram of the web and the internet. So you can see this diagram. Let's discuss the differences briefly. The internet is a global network of interconnected computers and devices that communicate with each other through standard protocols such as TCP/IP. It includes various types of networks such as local area network, wide area network, and the World Wide Web (WWW). The web is a collection of interconnected documents and resources which are accessed using the HTTP protocol over the internet. It includes various types of content such as text, images, videos, and audio files. Second question, first B. What ethical concerns are associated with using the invisible web for data mining and the surveillance purposes? The invisible web refers to the vast amount of content on the internet that cannot be accessed through standard search engines. This includes content that is not indexed or publicly available, such as password protected websites, private social media profiles, and unlisted directories. The use of the invisible web for data mining and surveillance purposes raises several ethical concerns, including invasion of privacy. Individuals may not be aware that their private information is being accessed and collected, leading to a violation of their privacy. Second, unethical data collection. Data mining techniques may be used to collect and analyze data without the consent of individuals or organizations, leading to unethical data collection practices. Misuse of data. Collected data may be misused for purposes other than those for which it was intended, such as for targeted advertising or surveillance. Bias and discrimination. The use of data mining and surveillance may result in bias and discrimination against certain individuals or groups based on factors such as race, gender, or religion. First, see how can individuals and organizations use two-factor authentication and strong passwords to enhance the security of their email accounts? To enhance the security of email accounts, individuals and organizations can use two-factor authentication and strong passwords. Two-factor authentication requires users to provide two forms of identification, such as a password and a verification code sent to their mobile device or email address. This adds an extra layer of security and makes it harder for hackers to access the account. Strong passwords should be strong passwords. It should be complex and include a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Passwords should also be changed regularly, and individuals should avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. Second question, what are the different types of malware and their impact on computer systems, and what measures can be taken to prevent malware infections, such as using antivirus software, regularly updating software? Malware is malicious software designed to damage or disrupt computer systems. Common types of malware include viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and ransomware. Malware infections can have severe consequences such as data loss, identity theft, and financial loss. To prevent malware infections, individuals and organizations should use antivirus software, Keep software and operating systems up to date with security patches and avoid downloading or opening suspicious attachments or links. And second question is second B is how can individuals and organizations train employees to recognize and avoid social engineering techniques such as phishing, pre-testing, and betting, and implement policies and procedures to reduce the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information. Social engineering techniques such as phishing, pretexting, and betting are designed to trick individuals into divulging sensitive information or performing unauthorized access. To reduce the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information, individuals and organizations can train employees to recognize social engineering techniques and implement policies and procedures to prevent them. This may include providing training on how to identify phishing emails, avoiding sharing sensitive information online, verifying requests for sensitive information before providing it. Second, see what are some different methods of securing data such as encryption, tokenization, and access control. How can organizations evaluate which approach best suits their specific needs? Different methods of securing data such as encryption, tokenization, and access control can be used to protect sensitive information. Organizations should evaluate their specific needs to determine which approach best suits their requirements. Encryption is a common method of securing data and involves converting plain text into ciphertext and using an encryption algorithm and a secret key. Tokenization involves replacing sensitive data with a token that has no meaning or value, while access control involves limiting access to sensitive information based on user permissions. Third, how can individuals and organizations use email filters, web filters, and firewalls to identify and block phishing and phishing scams? What are some best practices for responding to suspected attacks, such as reporting the incident to security teams? Email filters, web filters, and firewalls can be used to identify and block phishing and phishing scams. Email filters can be set up to block suspicious emails or to send them to a spam folder, while web filters can prevent users from accessing known malicious websites. Firewalls can block unauthorized access to computer systems and networks. Best practices for responding to suspected attacks include reporting incidents to security teams, reviewing access logs, and implementing incident response plans. Third B. What are some of the most significant milestones in the history of cryptography, such as the development of the Caesar cipher and the Enigma machine, and how have advances in technologies and computing impacted the evolution of cryptographic systems over time? Significant milestones in the history of cryptography include the development of the Caesar cipher, the Enigma machine, and the RSA algorithm. Advances in technology and computing have impacted the evolution of cryptographic systems over time, with modern cryptographic systems using complex mathematical algorithms, key exchange protocols to ensure secure communication and storage data. Third C. What are some key features and limitations of popular algorithms such as DES, 3DES, RC4, 2FISH, and AES? How can organizations select the appropriate algorithm for their specific use cases? Popular cryptographic algorithms such as DES, that is data encryption standard, 3DES, RC4, 2FISH, and AES, advanced encryption standard, have different key sizes, block sizes, and encryption modes, which impact their security and performance. Organizations should select the appropriate algorithm for their specific use case based on their security requirements, processing power, and the sensitivity of the data being protected. Factors to consider include the strength of the encryption, the ease of key management, and the potential for attacks such as brute force or side channel attacks. Fourth, how do public and private key based crypto systems work, and what are some practical applications of these systems in real world scenarios such as secure messaging and online transactions? What are some practical applications of these systems in real world scenarios such as secure messaging and online transactions? Public and private key based crypto systems work by using a pair of keys, one public and one private for encryption and decryption. In this system, the public key can freely distributed while the private key is kept a secret. When someone wants to send a message to the receiver, they use the receiver's public key to encrypt the message, which can only be decrypted using the receiver's private key. This ensures that only the intended receiver can read the message. Practical applications of these systems include secure messaging, online transactions, and digital signatures. Fourth B. What are some design principles such as principle of least privilege and defense in depth that organizations should follow when developing software and other systems? How can these principles be effectively implemented using tools such as code analysis and penetration testing? Design principles such as the principle of least privilege and defense in depth help organizations develop secure software and systems. The principle of least privilege states that each system component should only have access to the resources it needs to function, while defense in depth means using multiple layers of security controls to protect against attacks. These principles can be implemented using tools such as code analysis and penetration testing. Code analysis can help identify vulnerabilities in code, while penetration testing can simulate attacks to find weakness in the system. Let's see, how can organizations defend against side channel attacks such as timing attacks and power analysis attacks? And what are some standard methods for detecting and mitigating these types of threats, such as using masking techniques and implementing hardware level security measures? Side channel attacks are a type of attack that targets weaknesses in a system's physical characteristics such as power consumption or timing. Organizations can defend against these attacks by using masking techniques such as randomizing power consumption or adding noise to the data signals to make it harder for attackers to extract information. Hardware level security measures such as secure boot and firmware signing can also help protect against side channel attacks. Standard methods for detecting and mitigating these types of threats include monitoring power consumption and performing regular security audits. What are some key strategies for securing Windows systems and implementing effective authentication models such as biometric and multi-factor authentication? Securing Windows systems involves implementing several measures such as the following: installing regular security updates, ensure that all security updates are installed properly to prevent vulnerabilities from being exploited. Configuring firewalls. Use firewalls to block unauthorized access to the system and limit the network traffic that is allowed in and out. Using antivirus software. Install antivirus software and ensure that it is updated regularly to detect and remove any malicious software. Implementing access controls. Use access controls to restrict access to sensitive data and functions to authorized users only. Using strong passwords. Ensure that users create strong passwords that are difficult to guess and change them periodically. Implementing multi-factor authentication. Use multi-factor authentication such as biometric authentication to provide an additional layer of security for user authentication. Conducting regular security audits. Regularly assess the system for vulnerabilities and implement necessary measures to mitigate them. Fifth A. What standard authentication models are used by organizations such as single sign-on and multi-factor authentication, and how can organizations evaluate which approach best suits their specific needs, and how can organizations consider which approach is best suited for their particular needs use cases? Standard authentication models such as single sign-on SSO and multi-factor authentication MFA are used by organizations to increase the security of their systems and data. SSO allows users to access multiple applications with a single set of credentials, while MFA requires users to provide additional forms of identification such as a fingerprint or one-time password. Organizations can evaluate which approach is best for their specific needs by considering factors such as the level of security required, the number of users who will need to authenticate, and the cost and complexity of implementation. They can also consider the risk of different types of attacks such as phishing and credential stuffing and choose an authentication model that can mitigate this risk. Fifth B. What is trusted computing and how does it differ from traditional security models? How can organizations leverage trusted computing technologies such as hardware-based security modules and attestation remote attestation to enhance the security and integrity of their systems and data? Trusted computing is a security model that focuses on the integrity of the hardware and software components of a system. It refers from traditional security models that rely on software-based solutions such as firewalls and antivirus software. Organizations can leverage trusted computing technologies such as hardware-based security modules and remote attestation to enhance the security and integrity of their systems and data. Hardware-based security modules provide a secure environment for sensitive data and operations, while remote attestation allows organizations to verify the integrity of a system's hardware and software components before allowing access. Next, 5C. Explain how the virus works. Explain any 10 viruses. A computer virus is a type of malware that spreads by infecting executable files or documents. Once a virus infects a system, it can perform various malicious actions, such as stealing personal data or damaging files. Here are 10 examples of viruses. I love you, a virus that is spread via email in 2000, causing damage to millions of computers. WannaCry, a ransomware virus that affected hundreds of thousands of computers in 2017. Melissa, a virus that is spread via email in 1999 and caused millions of dollars in damages. CodeRaid, a worm that infected servers running Microsoft IIS in 2001, causing widespread outages. MyDOM, a worm that is spread via email in 2004, creating a backdoor that allowed attackers to control infected systems. Zeus, a Trojan that stole banking credentials and other sensitive information from infected systems. Configure, a worm that exploited a vulnerability in Windows system and created a botnet with millions of infected computers. Stuxnet, a worm that targeted industrial control systems, causing physical damage to centrifuges used in Iran's nuclear program. CryptoLocker, a ransomware virus that encrypted users' files and demanded payment in exchange for the decryption key. Mirai, a botnet composed of infected Internet of Things devices that was used in a massive distributed denial of service DDoS attack in 2016. So that's it. Thank you. This is the end of this video. Thank you.